Hello, my name is Gareth. You're watching the Hub Online Network. Sorry we're not live today. We've been having a little bit of technical difficulties in the studio, so you are watching this after the fact. But we got a big show for you guys today, so let's get to it. So a little bit of housekeeping to start ourselves off with. We are wanting to make the gradual move to YouTube. So what we're going to be doing is so next week on Monday and Friday, where Monday is going to be our live show, and then Friday on Facebook, and then Friday is going to be our live show on YouTube. We're going to do this for the next couple of weeks, and then eventually we will just be on YouTube and pasting everything, sharing to our Facebook account. The reason that we're doing this is so that everybody has access to YouTube more so than people have access to Facebook. So we feel that we'll be able to reach more people through YouTube. Also, it is our personal goal, as we've been taking a marketing course, to get 60 new people to follow us on our YouTube channel by the end of the summer. We think it's a very reasonable goal to do that, but we can't do that without posting new content to YouTube. So if you already like us on Facebook, make sure that you check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to us on there so you can get caught up to date with all of the Hub Online Network content. So now, moving on to the COVID numbers for the last couple of days. On June 16th, we had 10 new cases with no new deaths. And on June 17th, we had 19 new cases with no new deaths. And we'll listen to what Dr. Bonnie Henry has to say right now. Quick, I have her all queued up. Let me just take my thing here.
So today we have 8 additional people who have tested positive for COVID-19 in British Columbia, bringing our total to 2,783 people in BC, and that includes 950 people in the Vancouver Coastal Health Area, 1,441 in the Fraser Health Area, 130 people in the Vancouver Island Health Region, 197 people in the Interior Health Region, and 65 people in the Northern Health Region. We have no new healthcare related.
So 8 new people have come down with COVID-19 in the past day. That's not so bad when yesterday we had 19, so we're cutting our numbers in half. Hopefully that stays the trend for the next little while. Also, if you're wondering why I have a medal around my neck, I walked to work this morning. I live in Cache Creek. I work in Ashcroft, so I walked 10.5 kilometers. I got up at 5:30 this morning to come into work, and my coworkers were all graciously waiting for me, and they ended up giving me a medal. So I thought I should wear it for the show, if nothing else. We might actually have a few pictures of my whatever with my steps and stuff. So my legs are pretty sore. Overall, pretty difficult to lift my legs up right now, but it was well worth it, and I'm hoping to do it a couple of times a week moving forward for various different reasons. So anyway, that was awesome, and if you pass me in the Bluffs, watch out for me next week and the week after, as I will be walking in again 2 times a week. Now, in Ashcroft, we have, this is from the Ashcroft Village office. They say, well, we intended to open village playgrounds last week. The hand sanitizer required for safe reopening is on back order. Due to the hands-on nature of park equipment, the playgrounds will be taped off until further notice. However, the skate park will be unlocked today. It will be open without provided hand sanitizer to use, so use at your own risk and have fun. A public hearing will be held at 601 Bancroft Street, June 22nd at 6 p.m. to consider rezoning a portion of the 1479 Government Street property from agricultural to low-density residential. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, 4 members of the public will be permitted in council chambers at once. Should more than 4 people attend, each will have 2 minutes to represent their interests, then proceed to the back of the line, should they wish to speak again. We at the Hub Online Network will be live streaming this, so you will be able to participate through there. We'll be doing this through our Facebook page, and yeah, so that's the big property that is over the old rodeo grounds that they're talking about. So if you have anything that you would like to say and you don't want to go in, you can email us at hon@ashcrofthub.com, and we'll make sure to get your questions in to the council about this particular topic. So that's sort of the news that's coming out of Ashcroft, but there's also a lot of buzz going on about the local museum. So let's take a look about what they're doing right now.
What can you tell us about your COVID setup and how you had to get ready to come back to being able to have visitors?
Okay, well, first of all, we sort of talked a lot about would we be able to have visitors and what would it look like. And we decided we had enough space in most areas that we could safely distance. So we created a path going one way, and then so up the stairs and then down. We put away a lot of our hands-on artifacts, and we even roped off some of the little spaces so people couldn't go in them, and shut some doors. And then so it's like, what do we do with kids? We of course have the hand sanitizer and the masks, and we do a careful cleanup after people have been in here, just of things that we think that they like, the stair rails and the door, things like that. And then we did a lot of online stuff for kids, because we knew we wouldn't have our kids groups in this year. So we did a lot of online things for them, different little things, and as well as creating videos. And we decided that one of us would be at the front door and one of us would be upstairs. So any people passing in the narrow stairways, we could stop them and have people safely come down without another group going up. So different things like that. Yeah.
Great. And what are the hours of operation?
We're open 9 to 4.
And that's Monday through Friday?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. And is there anything new that you'd like people to know about?
Oh, we've got a wonderful donation of some old dolls this year from a family that lived here quite a while ago. And so people have brought in extra dolls since then. So some we have on loan and some we have donated. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And just lastly, is there any other information that you want the community to know about?
Oh, we have been doing Project of Heart, which is the village guys made us little white tiles. Project of Heart was started to make people aware of the Indian residential schools and what the students had gone through. And so they come in, and we've done that. This is our 3rd day of doing that. Some of the tiles have gone to the schools, and they just paint or use a permanent marker, and they draw a picture of their feelings about the Indian residential schools, and they do it in honor of a survivor, or they do it in honor of one of the children that lost their lives while attending. Yeah.
And was that the table I saw outside?
Yes.
Set up yesterday?
Yeah. So we'll be setting up today again.
Okay, cool.
For a few hours. Yeah. And we've also had people just come and take them home.
Oh, nice.
And they're going to redo them and bring them back. So they feel more comfortable doing that.
And then will it be a display?
Yes, we're hoping to create a couple of mosaics out of them,
very cool.
depending on how many we get.
Right on.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Troy and Matthias. That was some pretty interesting stuff. Thank you to Troy and Matthias for doing that footage today. Matthias, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your process was with Kathy?
Sure. So we went in, we put on our masks, and there's some lovely people over the museum. They were super helpful, super courteous. They helped us get all the shots that we needed, and they were more than willing to talk. Outside of the interview, we actually, well, not me, but Troy did a lot of talking just about the local history of the town. They have some people over there who are just truly interested in Ashcroft. It's just an awesome environment they have going on over there. Highly recommend that you visit the museum.
When we first started the Hub Online Network, Jan and I went there, and we didn't know a lot. I mean, less than we know now. We still don't necessarily know a lot. We did an interview with Kathy, and then we never used it because it was pretty pretty bad. Like, not from Kathy's standpoint, but from the filming. Kathy has lots of really good information, but the filming of it was so bad we never used it until like much later, when we felt like we should just put it up. Anyway, so thank you, Kathy, for everything that you've been doing. Thank you for supporting the Hub Online Network. How have you? So we have Jessica here as well. So Jessica, have you spent a lot of time in the museum?
We love the museum. We go often, or have gone often. We've done some of the kids programs in the summer that Kathy puts on. Alice's favorite thing is getting to pick a fossil to come home with us. So we have quite a few fossils. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason she wants to go to the museum, but we do check out the displays while we're there and wander through.
And what is your specific favorite thing about the museum?
I'm not sure how I have a specific favorite. Every time I go, I kind of discover a new little nook and cranny or some new artifact that I hadn't seen last time. So, and Kathy has information in her brain unlike any other about the history of Ashcroft and everything. So if you have a question, she's got the answer. So.
Okay, so our local member of Parliament, Brad Viss, sent a letter in today. He says, I hope this finds you and your family healthy and enjoying time together despite the challenges we all face with COVID-19. It's an unprecedented time in Canadian history. The COVID-19 pandemic shut down our nation and our economy, then it closed our most important institutions, our provincial and federal legislatures, to all but the most essential functions necessary to get us through the pandemic. But now it's threatening to shut down Canada's democracy entirely. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is using COVID-19 as the excuse to shutter Parliament until September, and he wants to keep it closed even longer. His daily theatre show at Rideau Cottage, performed in front of a small cadre of hand-picked media, has replaced parliamentary accountability. A government that substitutes Parliament with press conferences is not a democracy. If it's safe to shop at Walmart, Superstore, and Costco, if it's safe for our MPs, it is safe for MPs in the chamber 4 days per week for COVID-19 committee meetings. If it's safe for the Prime Minister to attend a protest rally and violate every social distancing edict issued by his own government, how is it not safe to sit in the House of Commons? That's a question only Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh can answer. They struck the deal that shut down Parliament until September, and they want to extend the closure even further. Never before in Canadian history have the opposition parties being prevented from doing their jobs. It's long past time to end this charade and put the men and women Canadians elected to represent them back to work. This isn't a partisan issue. This is about whether or not Canada should have a functioning democratic parliament with opposition parties providing oversight and accountability. If elected representatives don't believe the parliament is an essential service, they should take a hard look in the mirror and ask themselves why they ran for public office in the first place. No government in Canada's history has spent more money in less time than Justin Trudeau's minority. Since being re-elected last October, he hasn't tabled a budget, nor does he intend to present one anytime soon. It's a little bit of a long letter. The finance minister hasn't even presented an economic update, so nobody knows where tens of billions of dollars went or where the next hundreds of billions will go. We were in deep financial hole before COVID-19 struck, and today, June 17th, the Trudeau government is forcing a vote on $6 billion in new spending. This is on top of the $81 billion already allocated. He demands the bill to be passed without amendment after a pitiful 4 hours of debate. Nobody can read and review a novel in 4 hours, let alone Trudeau's latest billion-dollar spending bill. And why bother with a debate at all if amendments are not permitted? It's obscene. I will be in Parliament asking the hard questions our Prime Minister and Finance Minister keep trying to avoid. I will continue to fight for the answers you elected me to find, and I won't stop until I get them. COVID-19 alone was devastating for Canada. We cannot allow our Prime Minister to use it to bulldoze our parliamentary democracy as well. Brad Viss, Member of Parliament, Mission Matsqui, Fraser Canyon. So, again, remember that we at the Hub Online Network do not support any specific political party, person, place, or thing, or group. We are just reading to you what our local MP is talking about. And so thank you, Brad Viss, for actually sharing that. If you want more information on Brad Viss, you can go to his Facebook page, his Twitter, and his Instagram. I believe his Instagram is a little bit lacking in comparison to his Facebook page, but still, he does a lot of videos and shares the things that he's presenting in the House of Commons, so check that out if you get a chance. Another thing we have coming up here in Ashcroft is an art show put on by Royden Josephson. I have such a problem saying his name for some reason. I don't know why. But we do have a little clip from an interview that we did with him yesterday, so please check that out. So when is it?
Okay, the retrospective, which we're still developing a title here. One suggestion had been for a title for a show, Let's Get Physical, which has to do with, we talked about before, actually getting to see the work. The show will be at the Sidewalk Gallery and the Extension for July and August. Angela's there most of the time in the roll gear office, so she'll be there. I'll be there probably quite a bit of the time during the week. And there'll be contact numbers if people see something that they must have right away.
How many pieces are you putting in?
Haven't decided yet. It'll depend on the space.
Right.
Some of the pieces I have are rather large. So there are 6 windows across the front of the extension. And what I'm hoping to do is hang them back to back so that you see some from the window, and when you go inside, there'll be another painting on the other side. So we'll use the space that way, then the wall space. I anticipate maybe 20 sort of larger works and maybe some other smaller ones. So it's a retrospective, so I've got some early work that are kind of smaller, some drawings and some little paintings. In fact, I think the first one painting I'll have in there is the first one that I have, which was done, I think, in 1952 thereabouts.
Wow.
It's a little watercolor drawing of me on my pony jumping over a log. It's about this big. I think I'll put that in.
Are the paintings for sale?
Oh yeah, the paintings will be for sale, and glad you asked that because I just talked to Trish at E-Fry this morning, and I will be donating 50% to the local food bank.
Wow.
Of any and all sales. So I'm not quite sure how we'll arrange that, but I'm going to work something out with them. So she was quite happy to hear that. So I hope I sell everything and the food bank gets lots of money.
So thank you, Mr. J, for letting us come in and do an interview with you. You can see the whole interview on our YouTube channel next week. As Troy goes through that and make sure that he edits out all of my terrible questions. But moving on, we have some interesting news for Lytton. There is a movie coming to town. Should probably get my needle out of the way there. There's a movie coming to town. So Catherine Konecki reached out to us. She is from Wallop Film. And she says, great to chat with you now. Thank you for putting the word out in your community. We are looking to cast some local extras for one of our scenes of the Unicorn Code. The film will be shooting near Lytton at the end of July, early August. All info and contact details are in the poster attached, which I will read in 1 second. Please feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. So, it says, wanted Western film extras, males 20 to 50 years old, no experience needed. Location near Lytton. 1 day shoot, August 1st or 2nd, to be determined. Please send recent headshot on email to production@wallopfilm.com. Wallop is spelled W-A-L-L-O-P, so that's production@wallopfilm.com. And for more information, you can also visit the website www.unicorncode.ca. So if you're interested in being an extra in a movie in Lytton, please get a hold of them, and they will gladly hook you guys up if they feel that you meet their criteria. Now, talking about our local politicians, our MLA, Jackie Taggart, is on Facebook, and she says that there are many virtual mental health supports for everyone during these often difficult and strenuous times. Check out the link below for supports geared towards everyone: healthcare workers, youth, students and educators, seniors, parents, Indigenous peoples, and many others. Go over the article. Gareth. So let me bring that back up here. One sec. Where are we? Boom. No. Aha. Okay, so this is a virtual mental health support for COVID-19. So BC seniors, adults, youth, and frontline healthcare workers experiencing anxiety, depression, or other mental health challenges arising from the COVID-19 pandemic can get help through virtual services. To support British Columbians of all ages during the COVID-19 pandemic, the province is expanding existing mental health programs and launching new services. So there will be services for everyone to start. So a couple of these services are a thing called Bounce Back. So Bounce Back provides free access to online video and phone-based coaching and skills building programs. Seniors, adults, and youth who are experiencing low mood, mild to moderate depression, anxiety, stress, or worry can receive care. You can register for care and connect with the coach at Bounce Back or learn more at the Canadian Mental Health Association. There is virtual counseling services, peer support and system navigation, living life to the fullest, mental health check-ins, COVID-19 psychological support services. There are services for healthcare workers. There are services for youth. There are services for child and youth, mental health people, parent peer support, and child and youth mental health navigations. There are supports for students and educators. Support for parents, support for seniors, supports for victims of family or sexual violence, supports for Indigenous people, supports for LGBTQ people, and much more. And all of this is on the Government of BC's website. So please, if you are struggling with anything mental health related, please go there, check that out, and get the help that you need when you need it. Now, Jessica's going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on with sunflowers.
We are, and that's a good lead-in because I think it does have a bit of a mental health aspect to it. So the Sunflower Project is something that was started kind of by someone who was just looking for a way to promote inclusivity within the whole world. And so the idea is to plant sunflowers. And sunflowers, once you've planted them once, never go away. I planted sunflowers the first year we moved into the house, and I have had sunflowers ever since. And I have not planted them again. And I kind of just transplant them so that they're where I want them every year because they just come up wherever. So there are sunflower seeds available. You can pick up a packet of sunflower seeds either here at the hub or at Gold Country in Cache Creek. Some of them were donated from the Super Garden Farm from Spencer's Bridge. And the idea is just to plant sunflowers kind of everywhere. The hub had a group of volunteers come in and they planted some sunflowers in a patch of garden that was not being utilized. And so we're going to hopefully have sunflowers this fall. And then the idea is to share your sunflowers and Sunflower Project on social media. So you can go to thesunflowerproject.ca and check it all out. They've got an Instagram as well as a Facebook page where you can post and share your sunflower project.
Where was the first place that you heard about this?
It was Gold Country shared it, and so that I think is where it came here, but it's a BC-wide initiative.
Oh.
I am hoping to get some more information and kind of as to why it's important and why the projects are happening, but the contact hasn't happened yet. So hopefully we can get a video of more about what the project's all about.
Awesome. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, sunflowers are notoriously difficult. Not that you ever want sunflowers to go away, but they're very difficult to get rid of. In our yard last year, we planted all new grass, and we still get sunflowers that are popping out. So
I don't have grass in my backyard. I have gravel, and the sunflowers still come up. They come up somewhere where it never gets watered except for rain, and they just randomly appear all over the place. I have sunflowers on the other side of my yard from where I actually planted the sunflowers. Partly I think because my bird seed is on that side, so I think that's where some of those sunflowers came from, but they just come up everywhere. And I love it. I love sunflowers. But I would have my whole backyard of sunflowers if the dogs and Alice didn't have to run around in the backyard.
oh, Alice. So let's hear from Matthias in regards to defunding, or the possibility of defunding the police.
Yeah, so it's just a point of interest for me. Defunding the police is probably a buzz phrase that you've heard thrown around a lot, but it's kind of confusing because there's not a lot of information out there about what it actually means. So I just wanted to give a brief summary of what defunding the police would actually look like and what it means for us here in Canada. So defunding the police. This is different from abolishing the police because defunding doesn't necessarily mean getting rid of all police. That would be abolishing. So when we're talking about defunding the police, we're talking about taking the responsibilities that some of that police have right now, like for things such as wellness checks, taking the funding that would go towards those things and giving it towards community-based social worker programs so that social workers could be called to deal with issues such as wellness checks. I think that that's a wonderful example. So I just wanted to give a quick summary of what defunding the police actually means, because people need to make educated decisions on these things. I am not necessarily for or against defunding the police. I think it's an interesting idea, but yeah.
So that being said, yesterday, Jagmeet Singh was ejected from Parliament. So Singh says that he was angered by MP's gesture in opposition to motion to scrutinize systemic racism in the RCMP. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh has been expelled from the House of Commons for calling a Bloc Québécois MP racist and for refusing to apologize and withdraw his comments. Speaker Anthony Rota kicked Singh out for the rest of the day after Singh called Elaine Therian racist for refusing to support the NDP motion dealing with systemic racism in the RCMP. Singh tried to get all parties in the House of Commons to agree to the motion recognizing the existence of systemic racism in the RCMP. The motion points out that several Indigenous people have died at the hands of the RCMP in recent months. The motion also asked MPs to support a review of the RCMP's budget, to demand that the RCMP release all of its use of force reports, and to call for a review of the RCMP tactics for dealing with the public. Therian was the only MP in the House who refused to support the motion, prompting Singh to call the Bloc MP a racist. Deputy Speaker Carol Hughes responded by saying that she would review the record because she did not hear Singh when he stood up and said, "It's true, I called him a racist, and I believe that's so, Singh was asked by Hughes to apologize. He said, "I will not," he replied. The matter was referred to Speaker Rota, who returned to the House and ordered Singh to leave the Commons for the remainder of the day. At a press conference later in the day, Singh was asked if he would repeat the allegation against Therian outside of the House of Commons, where he is not protected by parliamentary privilege. So that was yesterday. It was pretty interesting, so we did watch it. What I wanted to actually do was get the clip of it, but for some reason I couldn't put it onto my computer properly, so I apologize for not having that clip. It was pretty interesting to watch. But let us know what you think. Should Jagmeet Singh have been kicked out of the House of Commons for the day? Should this gentleman just have voted yes, or should he still have voted no? Let us know what you think in the comments, or you can send us an email. And keep in mind, any emails that we do get and or read out in the show will be anonymous, but it'd be interesting to see what people have to say about this. So, there is a new possibility of having a COVID app, a made-in-Canada mobile app to alert Canadians who may have been exposed to a person infected with COVID-19 is ready for testing in Ontario, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced Thursday. Trudeau said using the app is completely voluntary and it will not share or store any personal information, including a user's geographical location. It will be up to the individual Canadians to decide whether to download the app or not, but the app will be most effective when as many people as possible have it. Trudeau said the Federal Privacy Commissioner was involved in the development, and every consideration has been given to protecting privacy because the government is very aware that Canadians are worried about their privacy and won't use the app if that is the case. So, Jessica, what do you think about having an app like that? Would you use it?
I think that if I was concerned about the risk risk of. So if there was a case of COVID somewhere within the area that I reside, then yes, I would use the app so that I maybe would have more information and be alerted to that. I feel like right now we live in a bubble where we're not as affected by COVID as other places. If I lived in Vancouver, I would absolutely, because that way I know right away, because I'm going to have more contact with more people and more potential. So the bigger my bubble, the more potential. And I'm glad that they've considered and thought about all of the privacy policy, the privacy issues, because that was kind of when I first heard about the app. It's like, you know, I don't want to be that person that says, yeah, I have COVID, and now all my neighbors hate me because I have this thing that's not my fault. And so I think that being able to have all the privacy concerns addressed before the app is live is cool. Please now for that.
Matthias, do you think that if one person that doesn't have COVID doesn't use the app, that that would make the app pointless?
I don't think it would make the app pointless. I think it would make the app significantly less effective. I think it's more meant to be a tool for general use. So there are generally more cases in this area compared to this area. So maybe in North Vancouver, there's more cases than in South Vancouver. Something like that. Not necessarily on my street how many cases of COVID there are, because yeah, of course it's going to be super ineffective at tracking that. But I think on a wide scale, it'll be useful for tracking where the hotspots are.
And I think Thailand, is it Thailand or Korea that has an app? Yep. That they have been very effective at reducing transmission, because as soon as somebody is tested positive, you know where that positive test was located, and you know where that person was, and so you can now either isolate or test, and it reduces that transmission of not when you're not symptomatic. And I think that's the biggest concern right now with the COVID-19 virus, is that there's such a long transmission period where you're not sick, you're not having any symptoms, and that's why it's getting the better of us. And so if you can right away know, and you can isolate all of those people that potentially came into contact with.
Troy, fact check for us whether North Korea, it was voluntary or not voluntary to...
Oh, I don't think it was voluntary.
Do you mean South Korea?
Yeah, South Korea, sorry.
South Korea.
Yeah, it was one of the, somewhere there, but it definitely was not, I don't think it was voluntary.
I want to
Check it?
know for sure.
Absolutely.
It would work by having people who test positive for the novel coronavirus upload that information anonymously to the app with the help of a public health official. Then any phone that was recently close to that phone for an extended time will alert its holder to a possible exposure to the illness. Easing COVID restrictions. Okay, so that's for that app. Now, once the app does come out, we will download it and we will take a look at it and see what it's like. But that it's looking like it's going to be available in July. So again, let us know what you think. Is this taking a step too far on the privacy side? Is it a good enough measure? Would you use the app? Would you not use the app? All those kinds of things. Let us know, hon@ashcrafthub.com. And we'll wait for Troy to, we'll come back to this once Troy has an answer. BC is looking at easing COVID restrictions. It will likely be next week before British Columbia further eases restrictions in place to fight COVID-19, Premier John Horgan says. He said Wednesday he's waiting for modeling numbers next week, updating the status of COVID-19 infections before announcing whether the province is ready to move to the next phase of its restart plan. He says, I'm hopeful at that time we can move to full implementations of Phase 3 of the recovery plan, which would include more travel throughout BC, Horgan said in a news conference. Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry said Phase 3 of the government's reopening plan includes film and television productions, movie theaters, spas, hotels, resorts, and overnight camping in parks and travel. Now, everything I've seen says that the movie industry is opening up. I have a lot of friends in that industry, and they are all talking about the production that they are working on in the near future. So that is falls in line with what Dr. Bonnie Henry is saying, so that's pretty good. What do you think? Is it too soon, not soon enough?
I feel like it's probably soon enough, just in that we're getting tired maybe of our bubbles and really wanting some of those services that have been lacking. But I'm gonna let it be with the professionals to decide whether we're ready or not. They're the ones that have all the data.
Now, side note, in the States, there are lots of states that are that have reopened pretty much fully, and they are now seeing large spikes in the amount of COVID-19 cases that they're seeing. So it'll be interesting to document if that happens here or not. Now, as far as I've seen, everything is already moderately open. I haven't seen a lot of people staying super far apart. People generally following the rules in our area of the world. But it would still be interesting to see what happens, especially in Vancouver. I think in Ashcroft and Cache Creek, people.
There's the thing, I feel like we're in a bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did read a CBC article that we got about masks potentially being mandatory for specific instances.
Well, when a couple weeks ago, I thought that Costco had said that masks were mandatory, and then my wife and I went to Costco, and they were handing masks out, but once we got inside, there was nobody wearing them.
Yeah.
So,
I always have one with me in case I feel like I can't physically distance.
right.
But it definitely is like, as long as I know that I can stay far enough away from people, I don't have the mask. I did wear the mask when I went and got a pedicure because it was mandatory. But just having it with me, I know that if I become uncomfortable, I know that I can just pull it out of my purse and put it on and have that extra layer of protection.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm over there. So both Singapore and South Korea, it's voluntary,
Okay.
but highly encouraged in order to collect the necessary data to make the app functional.
So if you couldn't hear Troy, he says both Singapore and South Korea, it is voluntary, but they are suggesting that people that do have it use it so they can collect the most amount of data that they can. So that's good that we found out. Thank you, Troy, the man in the chair.
And that their numbers are quite low, aren't they? Like their transmission numbers are low, considering their densely populated areas.
I'm not sure. I haven't followed South
Yeah.
Korea's numbers too much. But
Check that out.
check that out, Troy.
Keep going.
The numbers in South Korea. So in Kamloops, there is the Snowbird Memorial. So from the moment Captain Jennifer Casey died in the tragic snowbirds crash last month in Brocklehurst, city residents rallied around her and the entire snowbirds team. Shortly after the accident on May 17th, Briglio proposed renaming Airport Road to Captain Jen Casey Memorial Way. As the Tuesday afternoon, June 16th, Briglio has shut down the petition, which received more than 45,000 signatures online. So it sounds like they're moving ahead with that. So that's pretty awesome. And again, it's very sad to hear about that particular crash, especially when what they were trying, for what they were trying to do was just spread hope and optimism. Very sad. But one day when I drive down Captain Jenny Casey Memorial Way, I'll just slap a salute. And so that's pretty cool, Kamloops. So now we're going to talk about Canada Day with Jessica. So tell us what's happening for Canada Day in Ashcroft.
I'm so excited to be here with my Whiting Rivers Arts and Performance Society hat on. I'm the current president, and we made the decision to still have a physical Canada Day celebration. One of those reasons was because we really felt like everything was going virtual, and one of the things that everybody is missing is just that physically distant still, but interactions, being in the same space with other people. And so we're not going to have it at Mesa at 1 o'clock. The music will be by Brian, Julia, and Nadine. And so we'll just have a very pared down so that everybody can physically distance. The Hub Online Net will be recording one of those sessions and we'll have it up hopefully that same day. So if you don't feel comfortable or you're not able to get to one of the events, you can still participate in celebrating Canada's 154th, I think, birthday? 53rd?
Shorty, look it up. How old is Canada?
Come on, Google, quick, quick, quick. So I hope that you can come out and celebrate with us. Posters will be up around town next week, and we can just celebrate continuing to stay physically distant. With the music singing, we're actually going to be even more physically distant than we would be, but just have that celebration and that little sense of community.
Sorry.
I'm done talking.
Awesome.
Back to you, Gareth.
Good job, Jessica. I'm looking forward to our Canada Day celebration and filming that. And like Jessica said, you can check that out on the Hub Online Network. Yeah. Now, there is a new restaurant in town, and it's called Slim Jim's Diner. Now we at the Hub Online Network are going to do, or go talk to them about doing some sort of an op-ed about them and the types of food that they sell. But that did not happen today. However, as we were driving around town this afternoon, we did notice that there is a wacky, wavy, inflatable arm tube man in front of Slim Jim's Diner. So guess what we did? Play the clip.
I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find the clip.
He's trying to find the clip.
Too busy dancing.
I was too busy dancing to have the clip. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Here's the clip.
Go.
So right here, and we're dancing a wacky inflatable tube man. Have any of you been to Slim Jim's yet? We're not muted, by the way. How old
So
is Canada?
153.
Canada's 153rd birthday.
Okay.
And then there was a rabbit hole that I didn't go down where apparently the information in South Korea is being given out, so now they're concerned that it's a what is that, surveillance thing. I don't know how that applies to the trade together.
Am I live?
Yeah.
Oh. So, sorry, we were just talking to Troy there. Troy's telling us that South Korea's numbers are, in fact, on the rise, and Canada is 153 this year. So Jessica was way off by saying 154.
I'm sorry, Canada. I had a year ahead of myself.
Now, we did already talk about sunflowers. I just want to make sure that I don't have anything else to talk about. Oh, yes.
Seoul in particular, it's specifically saying that in the capital, it's on.
In the capital of South Korea, the numbers are going up. Thank you, Troy, man in the chair. Now, the last major story that I have is a worldwide, this is the fighting between India and China. So this is just a really quick thing here. So this incident follows rising tensions and is the first deadly clash in the borders area in the last 45 years. The Indian Army initially said 3 of its soldiers had been killed, adding that both sides suffered casualties, but later on Tuesday, officials said a number of critically injured soldiers had died of their wounds. India's External Affairs Ministry accused China of breaking an agreement struck back in the previous week to respect the line of actual control in the Galwan Valley. So what happened was there were 2 opposing sides along the Galwan Valley, and one side was on the Chinese side of the border, one side was on the India side of the border. A scuffle broke out, and both sides of the opposing forces ended up, and there's no guns allowed here, so they ended up getting into a huge fist fight, and several people were killed by being bludgeoned to death with rocks and or clubs and or fists. So after that, tensions rose pretty rapidly, but neither side, it is determined that neither side really wants to have a war. So they are de-escalating as quickly as possible. but it was an interesting story that we thought we should share. So the last thing that we have is another thing to just give one more shout out to the grads. So let's play that, and then we'll come back and end the show. Awesome. So at the beginning of the show, we were talking about how we're changing up our programming just a little bit and how we're going to be going over to YouTube eventually. Another thing that's changing is the Monday show is going to be going on to Tuesday. The reasoning for this is since we have a few more people in the office, we feel that we are capable of getting out into the community more and making more videos for you that we can include in these news shows. So that is what we're going to do. But we're going to take Monday every week, and we're going to go and film things for the Tuesday show, and then Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to film things for the Friday show. So that's going to be the way that we do things here. So Tuesdays and Fridays, as much as possible, unless there's a holiday on a Friday, then we'll go on Thursdays. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check us out on Instagram. We have a new Instagram account that we're using, so check us out there. Follow us on Twitter. Yeah, have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll see you guys Tuesday at 3.